Hi, I am Toni Blackman, and I am going live here for Believe in the Cypher Summit, our first ever. I want to thank 651 Arts Foundation, Candace and Shay Wafer and Crystal Boyd and Nia for the love and support in making this series of events happen. And our guest star was not able to make it this afternoon, but I have some other artists who are joining us. Dres ThaBeatnik is on with us from Atlanta, and we're pretty excited about that. Dres ThaBeatnik is originally from Philly. He's Atlanta, known in the South. He's one of the leading host of hip hop events all over the world, highly respected as a performer, master beatboxer, MC, event producer, music industry consultant. And so we're very blessed to have him joining us. Freedom Williams of CNC Music Factory is on his way to the airport to Australia, and he may also be calling in. He's trying to work it out with technology. And Kokai from DC, Grammy-nominated producer and MC, is on his way home from work, may miss us. And we heard from Lee Stone. Lee Stone is a hip-hop producer who I really respect and admire. And I just need to send him an invite. So I've heard from him. And so I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about what we have going on here and realizing that I should probably have a production assistant here. I was thinking Google Hangout conversation is going to be really simple and easy, but I'm thinking since I got Dres ThaBeatnik in, Dres, you're looking a little dark in the picture here. Can you hear me? Oh, he's moving around. Yeah, that's better. I can't hear you though, Dres. Now I can see you. That's much better, much better in the light. And now we just got to get the audio popping. and we'll be good to go. So while Dres works that out, we have a couple of viewers. And I am thinking about what it means to be an MC, what it means to be a part of the Cypher, what it means to represent hip hop, music, and culture. And for me, it's the Cypher is a sacred space. The Cypher represents 360 degrees. It's about completion of thought, giving and exchanging energy, information, and ideas. And I want to know, what does it mean for Dres? Dres, are you with us yet? Oh, he's so he's working out. He's working out these sound. We're gonna have a. We're going to see why. I have no idea why this is happening. Yes, sir. So he's gonna keep working it out, and I'm gonna keep talking, which is something I can do with ease when it comes to hip hop music and culture. So the craft of emceeing as it stands right now, I feel like we're going through a bit of a renaissance period. And by renaissance period, I mean that there's a certain rebirth that's happening. And when we look at what's happening with Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Rhapsody, we see artists pushing into the mainstream, and they are standing up for what they believe in. They are speaking out. And I think it's pretty exciting when we start to think about it. And think about where hip hop was just 7 years ago, where I know there are many hip hop heads who were just absolutely frustrated, as frustrated as Dres must be right now, not having any son. You there? I hear you.
I don't know. Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Success. Hello.
Okay, so great. I believe we have Jared Schill is on the line, musician, scholar as well. He may be joining us, and I'm waiting for Lee Stone to send me his Gmail. Lee Stone still has an AOL. I'm learning so much about hip hoppers and technology. So Dres, first question of the day. Let's get into it, right?
Okay.
The art of emceeing, the craft of emceeing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are the most important ingredients? Because we have a bunch of MCs in our collective that are going to be watching the archive of this later, right?
Okay.
A lot of cats are at work, grinding, New York City style. But one of the questions that came up, what's important?
Well, honestly, I think telling your truth is the most, above everything is the most, in my opinion, is the most important thing. You got to be able to tell your truth and be able to articulate your truth. Once you're able to articulate your truth, then your vision will be able to, like I said, once again, this is my opinion, based on my experience. Once you're able to articulate your truth, your vision will start to come into form. And that's just with regards to the writing process of being an MC, in my opinion. And then when it comes to the performance side of being an MC, just being mindful of your environment, I think is being a quick read of a room or of a crowd or of an environment, definitely matters a lot more than not being able to. And it's not an overnight thing. It is something that happens over time. It's a craft. So it takes time to hone this particular skill to apply to the craft. Like you, for example, like you didn't come out the box just, freestyling and all that. It took some time. It took taking some knocks. It took taking some criticism and taking all of that and applying it to what it is you want to do. And, with the hope, wish, and prayer that you'll get better at it. It's not an instant thing. I tell people all the time, like, your chances of being a great MC are almost as great as that being struck by lightning. It doesn't happen to everybody. It's not, some people, there are people that are meant to be MCs and there are people that are meant to be fans. Right. And either one is okay. Like there's no wrong answers in this hip hop thing. Right. But, the thing is, at a certain point, you should know when to stop and, figure out something else. But the ones that do have, for lack of a better term, that staying power are the ones that consistently work on their craft. And they say you need 10,000 hours in order to perfect something. When it comes to this culture, when it comes to this particular art form, I don't think it's a 10,000 hours thing. I think it never stops. I don't believe that it's, you put in 10,000 hours and then you're an expert. Like, no, because styles change like the seconds on a clock do. What's the style of the day today will not be the style of the day a year from now or 2 years from now. And I that's kind of part and parcel. I don't worry about hip hop in general because I know styles are always evolving. Like there's a style that's on its way now that nobody has seen yet and won't see for probably about another 2 years or 3 years. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like we just have to, as fans and even MCs that are fans of other MCs, just, learn to be able to listen and be in tune with who you are, your voice, your vision, and then your execution will show up long before you know it.
Right. Okay, so when you think about performance as MCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's someone, we had a debate the other day, they said that they were arguing with me where they said, who's your number one? And I was like, what do you mean? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? KR's, right?
Right.
It turned into this big argument. And then he tried to say that, well, KRS-One is the greatest performing MC.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but you asked me who was my favorite, not the greatest. I said, but performance, to me, I think it matters in greatness, right? Because part of being hip hop is being able to rock the crowd, right? That's an MC. But I wanted to, like, your take on that, like the significance of performance, and then what specifically is important in terms of performance. So if I got 25 MCs in a workshop.
Right. Well,
what would you do?
Well, the thing is, they're journalists and then they're activists when it comes to this MC thing. They're people that are dynamic writers. They can journal their entire experience over 3 minutes and 340 to 410. You know what I'm saying? They can journal, they can write the dopest rhymes ever. When it's time to get on the stage, they can't do anything. Like take Jay-Z, or take early, like Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z. Great, when Sean Carter is by far and away one of the greatest writers in the history of the culture. However, when he's on a stage, them early days, it was crap. Like he would, just stand in one place and literally just point while he's spitting, and that's not a show. You're giving a lecture.
Right.
Different.
Right. Right.
The MC doesn't just mean master of ceremonies. It also means move the crowd. You're not able to do that. There's a problem. And that's where I think the division between journalists and activists come from, because activist MCs actually know how to burn up a stage. And there is an art and science to it. There's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to that. Like lighting comes into play. Frequencies in the sound come into play. How you execute. Like when I'm on stage performing, I always dress in layers, because I want people to, to be more involved as I'm involved. And that's a trick I actually learned from Chris. You show up in like a jacket, and then by the time you're done, by the time I'm done, I'm down to my wife beater. You know what I'm saying? But by the time I get down to that last layer between me and the crowd is I already have pulled in the crowd beforehand. So we're having that shared experience. And there are a lot of writers that don't know how to create that shared experience with an audience.
So how do you get there? Like you initially talked about MCs, and there are people who rap, who may never become MCs, they're MCs. So they're MCs who are on the path. How do they develop that gift?
I believe that the gift can be developed honestly just by right of practice. Practice, execution. Like every time you're on the stage, you're going to walk away with a lesson. But the thing is, you got to be in tune in order to receive the lesson. A lot of MCs don't study themselves. I've seen that a lot. Like the idea of rehearsing and filming, in order to watch game footage of you on stage and how you move and how you execute and how you transition from one piece to another piece. Like a lot of them just don't do that. And
so you just mentioned how you move, how you how you transition from one piece to another, how you use the space on stage.
Exactly.
And I add how you project your voice, like using your voice. Like your voice isn't just one way the whole time.
Right. You know,
yeah.
Being able to project from the diagram. You know, I mean, and also just programming. Like it really depends on how where you want to take your audience. Like I see acts that start like at the highest of the high, like at the beginning of the show, and then like when it gets to the end, like it's like they're just crashing. You know, it's not like, oh, I got this one song that I know it won't be, you know, there won't be a dry eye in the house. By the time they get to it, like you done whip the crowd up in such a frenzy at the top of the show that now it's just anticlimactic, you know, by the time you get to the end of the show. Like people don't take, like MCs sometimes don't take these things into account. Like your job is to be able to give a full picture of what it is that you are and what it is that you do. The thing is, everybody's life story takes more than a lifetime, but you have, as an MC and as a performing MC, a rap artist, you got to be able to condense that into a very small box of time. And how you do that, how you program that plays just as well of a part in it as anything else. Like you can have the greatest stage mechanics on earth, but like if your programming sucks, then it sucks. And there's nothing you can do about that but learn from the mistake and fix it in time for the next show. Some cats don't know how to do that or don't want to do that, you know, and that's where it turns to, for lack of a better term, that's where it turns to shit. Like, don't let it turn to shit if you don't have to let it turn to shit. I'm sorry for my language, but you know, I get a little passionate about it from time to time. But you know, I mean, I won't say it bothers me, because I understand that everybody is at different levels of learning. So, and I always try to take that into consideration when it comes to what I say to other practitioners of the craft. But in general, just learning how to read. Your job is to take your audience on vacation without leaving town. That's your job. That is your job. You made an album. You gave the public a slice of your life. You gave them an opportunity to escape their life in order to walk in your shoes. If you cannot effectively communicate that to the point where people being your audience and have felt like they've actually gone someplace else, you did it wrong. Right. But the great thing about it is you get another chance to do it again. You get to do it again the next night. You get to fix it and do it again right the next night. And if that don't work the next night, guess what? You get another night to go ahead and fix it and get it right. And if that don't work, and so forth and so on. But like, yeah, your job is to take people on vacation. You are a musical travel agent. Take your audience on vacation. They want to get away from the mundane. That's why they pay money to come see you, or they go to an open mic to see you, or they stop what they're doing on a busy sidewalk to hear you in a cipher. They want to get away. The ones that have it know how to take people away from where they are physically. They know how to take them on a journey in the mind. The ones that don't, you know, they end up working.
But I think what you initially described was the basic
ebb and flow thing.
Ebb and flow of storytelling, of, I guess, almost any form of art. There are some basic principles that are universal. So whether it's a play, a movie, a song, a performance, and I think sometimes that's what people forget about hip hop, that it's an art, and so that these universal principles so hip hop. I think that we forget that. You're getting a little bit of the underwater a couple times. I don't know if it's because you're moving or what. I don't know, but something was happening. But I could still understand you. The cipher. What about the cipher? Our theme is believe in the cipher, and I like to ask all the artists that I talk to about the significance of the cipher for them. And what the cipher means for them?
Well, what the cipher means for me is just an overall exchange of ideas. There's power, there's energy in the cipher. You know, through the cipher, you actually get to learn things about yourself that you never knew existed before, but you get to learn about these things honestly through the eyes and ears of others. And I think those are some of the characteristics that make the cipher oh so important when it comes to our culture. You know, you I don't know if you've noticed this or if you've encountered this, but like there's a generation of hip hoppers that are afraid of the human contact or just the collective human energy that comes in a cipher. And it's sad to watch. You know, it's like, you know, you actually could probably get better if you like get involved in more of these things. But you know, but there's this, you know, it's kind of the result of participation trophyism. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you show up, you're supposed to get crowned. Like that's not how it works in the cipher. Like just because you show up to the cipher, you still have to participate. Like you can't just no matter even if you are the most introverted person, you know, just by nature, like the energy of a cipher when it's good is you gonna open your mouth and say something. Like even if you don't want to say anything, you're gonna open your mouth and say something. It might not be dope.
Right.
But you're gonna say something. Like you're gonna want to have your voice heard. Like you're gonna want to get up, get into it, and get involved. And that's what this is all about. You know, like I think the cipher is very important when it comes to what we do and how we do it and how we pass on tradition from one generation to the next.
Wait, there's a question. There's a question from an MC. He goes by the name of We the People. He spells people though, PPUL. He wants to know, what do you mean by programming?
Okay. So what I mean by programming is let's put it into a working example. All right. So you have your album or your mixtape, and your album or mixtape has about, let's say 12 songs on it. Let's say 10. Let's say 10 songs. You got 10 songs. All 10 of your songs are not the same. Hopefully, please don't. We the People, please don't let all 10 of your songs be the same. Please don't. But you got 10 songs. You get booked for a show. Say your show is 45 minutes long. You have a 45-minute set. In that 45-minute set, before you even get on the stage, you should know exactly where you want to be able to take your audience. You can have room for improvisation and things like that, and that's great. But the programming of your show, meaning the songs that you've recorded and allowed the public to be able to consume, they're expecting to hear these songs performed live on stage. Now, your track listing, while it may be a great track listing for a standalone product, it probably will change depending on the audience you're in front of. Like you say you got 3 hype songs, you got 3 like slow joints, and then everything else, and you got everything else in the middle is like, you know, it could probably go either way, but like they're your introspective joints, right? You got an opportunity to really direct an overall message with regards to your stage show. Like that's about the most freedom you're going to have is on the stage. Because like once you're done writing and you record, like that's it. That's it. There's no editing to that. It's gone away forever. You know, once that product hits the streets, that's it. You can't go back and change it. You can't be like, well, it's like, nah, I was just playing. I ain't really mean to say that thing that I said about that other thing. Like, that's it. The stage is the one place where you have the most, in my opinion, the most artistic freedom. And when I speak about programming, I'm talking about your sequence of songs and music that you're going to present to your audience to take them where you want to take them. no, you know, there's no one way fixes all sort of situation. Every artist is different. Like take DMX for example. I think, in my opinion, is like one of the most dynamic stage performers of all time. Like you know, he has party joints, he has introspective joints, he has points in his show where the man like literally breaks down and cries like damn near every night. But it's like one of the hardest dudes you'll ever meet. You know what I'm saying? Like he's taking his audience on a journey. Like if you've ever had the pleasure or opportunity to see an artist like a DMX perform on stage, like you get it. Like you get it. And that's one of the better examples that I have on when I speak about programming and taking an audience where you want them to go as the storyteller, as the MC, as the entertainer, as the performer. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, you got to know, but you have to know you before you can even get to that part. And
so we have another question that was texted to me, and it's a young MC, 23, who wants to know, I've been developing my skills. I have material. How do I get a show? How do I get shows? I just started out. There aren't as many. It's not like back in the day when y'all was young.
Well,
how do I get shows is his question.
One, thank you for your question. You know, I'll tell you this, it was just as hard back then as it is now. Honestly, you as a 23-year-old MC living a great time with regards to this craft. You have something that we didn't have, and that's called analytics. You have analytics. You have a way to know exactly where your fans are. Toni and I, we didn't have that. You know, it was, let's get our friends together and hopefully our friends will show up, and, you know, if they don't show up, like we're kind of asked out. Like the thing is, you know, oh yeah, let's go do a show in Waukegan, Illinois. Like nobody's ever been to Waukegan, but there's a bar that wants to book it. So we're going to go out and play. The thing is, these days, you guys have the pleasure of having analytics. And what analytics does is actually pinpoint exactly where your fans are so that you can actually go and be where your people are. You know, like you might be from New York City, but like you got a ton of fans in Billings, Montana. Guess where you got to go get your show off? You got to go to Billings, Montana to go kill shit. That's what you got to do. But the thing is, you know exactly where they are. So now you're in a much better position to go and talk to these people. You know, you can go and hit up a bar and be like, hey, listen, I got a bunch of fans that are in your backyard that have money that they want to spend. You want to make some money? And bar, you know, the owner of the bar is going to say yes or no. A lot of times, another thing that you can think about doing is pretty much what we've done. Like sometimes you just got to buy your way in. You got to put on your own show. Like don't wait for nobody. Don't wait for like said quote unquote hot promoter in your market to put you on. Nobody's gonna put you on if you're not already hot, and you don't even necessarily have to be hot. You just got to hustle harder than the next man. How about that? Like the thing is, you know, promoters don't listen to albums. Promoters buy shows.
We lost you sound wise.
Oh no.
Okay, now you're back.
Okay, so like I was saying, promoters don't buy albums. Promoters buy shows. So in order to get, you know, the quote unquote hot promoter in your market to put you on, you got to be a worthwhile investment. These promoters, they're spending a bunch of money to book a bunch of talent and book a venue and do the necessary marketing and promotions to let people know that this is happening.
Feel?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't the same case. How you feel?
Hold on, you're breaking out.
Okay. Am I clear now?
Yes, you are.
How do you feel about having to sell tickets? Like there's sometimes they or they have to sell 25 tickets in order to perform, or they have to pay $50 to perform. How do you feel about that?
I'm not a fan of pay to play. I'm not a fan of afternoon shows. Nah, I'm not a fan of that. Now, if there's a situation where you want to partner up with me and we do a split of some sort, I'm all for that. But me going out and here's your 50 tickets and you sell these tickets, like, no, because 9 times out of 10, your people are just going to show up to the door and pay for you. They're not going to buy a ticket. So, you know, a lot of promoters that do the whole pay to play thing, I think they're fucking up the live performance side of this thing we love, you know. But always look for a better deal. And like I was saying earlier, like, don't be afraid to put yourself on. Like, you don't necessarily have to go and spend the $50. Like, no, you don't have to do that. And the thing is, an open mic is an open mic, and a showcase is a showcase. You know, I would say this: any promoter that says you need to pay to play, you need to literally come right back at them and ask them a real simple question: who has come through here to one of your showcases that has gotten signed to a deal and has had a career that that not even me, that my mom can relate to, can say, oh, such and such, I know that person. If they don't have that person that has come through their ranks and gone on to superstardom, they're bullshitting you. They're bullshitting you. Tom.
So
I hope
that's great, because I get that question a lot in the Cyphers, and a lot of youngins I know are paying to perform.
Don't do it.
It doesn't make sense. It's a great answer. So Jared Schill is teaches at Columbia University, is a music scholar, works at Jazzy Lincoln Center, is a hip hop head, and he says, I have a question. He's posted it on Google. How can teachers help create the space of their ciphers, the space of a cipher in their classrooms on the first day of class? How can they use hip hop in the classroom on the first day of class?
I think a cipher actually is a great icebreaker. You know, I mean, you could, I guess, if you want to break it as simple as possible, like, you get all your students to get in the cipher and, you know, have them, it's, instead of them writing about how they spent their summer, they can rap to you how they spent their summer, you know, or they want to, you know, they want to introduce themselves. You want to make sure everybody in your class knows everybody else. All the students know each other. You can have a cipher and have that just be the introduction thing, you know, try to put together, you know, a simple cadence that just about anybody can rap to. Like, my name is blah, blah, and I blah, de blah, and they blah, de blah, de blah, de blah. You know, like, something simple like that. It's fun. It's funny. You know what I'm saying? And it breaks the ice in the classroom. And, you know, or if it's not the first day of class, like, you know, once a week or something, have a review Cypher style. You know what I'm saying? Like, a review of what you've learned. Of what you learned in the cipher, or what you learned in the classroom, and to put that into the cipher. Like, this is the lesson for the week. Like, you know, this is what I taught you all week. Break up in your little groups and present a cipher on what you learned during the week. That's another idea. But I think, you know, just given what the basis of the cipher is and what it's about, you know, the exchange of ideas and energy, you know, as an educator, I think your possibilities are literally as limited as your syllabus.
So I got another question from an MC who is, I'm losing my sunlight. Oops. I got another question from an MC. I'm gonna turn on my light.
Mm-hmm.
I got another question from MC who said, look, I'll never be a rap star. He's emailed this question. He said, I'll never be a rap star. I don't know if I want to be a rap star, but I teach. I got a little business on the side where I cater cookies, but I still love hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And what kinds of things can I do other than trying to be a recording artist, like to that I can make a living off hip hop? Like I got a few things I want to do, and I don't want to get rid of hip hop. He's like, what are some other ways I can make money off hip hop?
Well, you can keep writing. Make sure that you are a protected writer through ASCAP, CSAC, BMI. You can get your publishing company in order. You can license music. You can always shop to ad agencies and the small businesses. Just businesses in your area. Everybody needs a commercial. You know what I'm saying? So, you can pitch an idea to shoot a commercial for a business and you write the music for it. Let me see what else. You can always do workshops. Workshops are a cool thing. You could probably do a hip hop summer camp where you are allowing these children to learn the history of this culture. You love it. If you love it as much as you say you do, like honestly, the opportunities and the ideas will show up. Once again, there isn't a one size fits all thing. Like I'm not a rap star myself. I'm a human beatboxer and a host by trade. But I've also had the privilege and honor of putting myself in positions where I can educate and lecture to the younger generation about this hip hop that I so love and keep near and dear to me. So the possibilities are always endless. It really just is a matter of how much are you willing to do to have the thing you want and to never work another day in your life because you're doing the thing that you love to do.
That's perfectly stated. That is perfect. Because you know what? I don't feel like I work sometimes.
Yeah.
When the hours get long, that's one thing.
Right.
I get tired because I enjoy sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those party people that likes to stay up to the sunrise dancing. Mm-hmm. But I love what I do. My question is to you, how did you end up in this space of actually doing what you love? This comes up a lot in our Cypher because a lot of the cats are like 19 to 23 and making decisions and dealing with the economy, the political climate, all of the challenges that are in the world now, Sally Mae and those loans and there's some dope artists who are multi-talented and some of them aren't clear, like, which choice do I make?
Right.
How did you make your choice?
The first thing I did while I resolved on was getting and finishing my education. That was important to me. And it's important to me because through my post-secondary education, i.e. college, you learn how to move in life. And learning how to move in life definitely helps because there's some doors that you just being a dope MC that just walked the path of the journey isn't enough. It's not solely enough. I know for me and what I do, if I didn't have my 2 college degrees, my bachelor's and my master's, I know a lot of doors that I feel like should be open to me would be closed because I don't speak their language. Right. And you have to be able to be multilingual. You have to be able to speak this business language and the street language damn near simultaneously at times. but you have to be able to do that. And it's really hard, you know, it's really hard to open those doors when you don't have those keys or those credentials to unlock those doors.
Right.
This was totally not the path I was supposed to go down, according to my mother. You know, my mother wanted a civil engineer. What she got was a human beatboxing, emceeing, lecturing, you know, host. That's what she got. We've since resolved these issues, but that's what she got. And you know, the thing is, I would always tell or stress to anybody, like getting and having your education first is honestly, I think, just the cornerstone of everything that you need in order to move forward. You have a firm grasp of this culture, you have an idea of what you want to do. There are a multitude of doors that are open. And then the thing is, you just have to stick with it and stay at it. And much like becoming a better MC, you just have to keep adding on and building to your craft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, but you know, and then also just not having I'm not taking no for an answer sort of approach to things. But yeah, if you have everything you need, the word no should very rarely appear. You have everything you need.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. No, well, you were talking, I laughed because I think there was this part of the family that wanted a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was my grandmother and grandfather wanted it to say Dr. Toni Blackman. They didn't know what the doctor was for, but they just needed the letters. And I remember my grandmother crying when I said I was going to be a poet and rap and study hip hop. She's on her deathbed. She was sick and dying. And it was the first time I ever heard her curse in my whole life. Was around that. So that's a definite thing. And I think that really ties into, because 651 Arts Foundation is an arts presenter that has supported this series of hip hop events that I'm being able to do, with having you as a guest, having this voice coach work with the MCs, and supporting a Cypher event. And it's arts presenters that are supporting hip hop in a way in which sometimes it can be challenging to get business, corporate, or even music industry to support. And so I'm really grateful for it. And I'm really excited about what is unfolding with hip hop, not only on the underground and on the indie scene, but on a more mainstream level. Right. And I'm wondering what your view is on what's happening on a more popular culture level. Pop rap was not something that most of my peers paid attention to until the past couple of years. And now there's this shift happening that's almost shocking. How is it landing for you? How is it resonating in Atlanta? Is this a nationwide kind of energy? How do you perceive it?
Well, I live in the candy factory. Like,
yes,
you know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I get to see it damn near on a nightly basis. You know, I mean, the way I see it though, you see certain voices and certain messages winning, and you know, for people like you and I, Toni, it's like, oh my God, we've been waiting on this for so, you know what I mean? We're like, oh my God, like I'm about to see this. Is this actually happening? Like, you know, they're ready to start serving like steak with the, you know, with the cake now. Like they're ready to, you know, they really want meat and potatoes now. They don't just want candy anymore. They actually want some substance. And you see, you know, see artists that actually are making records with substance, like walking away with hardware that normally would, you know, it easily the last 10 to 20 years, you would not have seen those types of artists have access to. And I feel, you know, that is it's indicative of things to come, but I don't know if it's going to show up. I don't think it's going to show up as quickly as people think. Like,
right.
Like, you know, take an artist like Lupe Fiasco, for example. I think he showed up to the party too early.
Mm.
You know, I think he showed up to the party too early. He's a phenomenal artist that has a lot of great things to say on a wide variety of topics. Sometimes he gets a little into himself, you know, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, but his overall message as an MC, I think, is just great. But
yeah,
he showed up at a time where, you know, I mean, everybody was still a little waned out when he showed up, you know, and like that's the dominant sound. So like he was, you know, it's like, you know, instead of screaming, you know, in a condensed room, you're just screaming at the Grand Canyon. Nobody's really going to hear you. They're just going to hear a murmur of an echo, you know. But like, you know, if Lupe would have dropped his first album in let's say 2013, he'd be right on pace, you know. But Lupe had to show up to the party early in order for a Kendrick Lamar to be able to come in at the right time. You know, it's sad.
But he was prepped it, like that was his function.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing happens by accident. Nothing happens by accident. You know, we all know that. Like, no, I mean, somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb. You know, that's just how it works. Like Mos Def had to be the sacrificial lamb for Rawkus. Like it just works out that way. You know, but I see the change happening, but I don't see it on a local level yet. Like I don't see that on the local level yet, and I really do want to see it, and especially given where I am, like geographically speaking, like I'm literally at ground zero for all things candy. You know what I'm saying? It fucking sucks, but you know, I get to see it. My thing is I'm doing the best I can to make sure that artists that do make this type of music, and it's cool. You want to flipping and whipping the bricks and trapping in the bando, all it's fine. But like, you know, give me a consequence to the action. Like nobody gets away. That's not life. You know what I'm saying? Nobody commits a crime and gets away with it. Like that's not how it works. So, you know, be a full storyteller and present it from all sides. You know, there is like for every action, there is a consequence.
Right.
You know, you got to be able to. The difference from staying local and getting out of, you know what I mean, your local where you and not being local, it's how you're directing the narrative. You know, I mean, shit. Imagine if every verse on Reasonable Doubt was the bad guy got away. I don't think Jay-Z would have left Marcy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so you know, I just think those things are needed. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the shift is concerned, I do feel like it is coming. I don't see it permeating on a local level just yet. You know, and I would hate for hip hop on a local level to believe that there's only room for one Kendrick Lamar, room for one Dead Prez, or room for one Immortal Technique, or room for one KRS-One. You know what I'm saying? Like I would hate to see that, because there's enough room for everybody, and as we all know, there's always strength in numbers. You know, he can't be the only one wanting to pimp a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be more. There has to be more to it than that. Like, you know, you don't necessarily have to imitate the man's sound because that's his unique sound, but the message should resonate and be able to be covered by more than one person. You know.
Okay. No, that's great because I think about what's happening in New York. I think about some of the high school MCs, teenagers I've worked with, and one of the most inspiring things to me was when they got excited when they saw me in a picture with Immortal Technique.
Mm-hmm.
Made me smile from the inside out. And then another kid, his rhyme was like, he had a line in a rhyme where he rhymed something about Muhammad Ali, and his next line was that they called me the young Kweli. And I was like, oh, really? And these were 15-year-olds in the Bronx. And so I just got inspired, and I was like, okay, it's a shift that's going down.
Right.
And it's funny because people keep predicting the death of hip hop. And like you said in the beginning, something else happens and it doesn't die. No. And it keeps evolving. And I think that's why we're having this summit with 651 Arts. And the theme of 651 Arts, they have the festival, Spring Arts Festival. The theme is classically Black. And so the team at 651 thought of this concept where there is Black art that is classical in its nature. In the same way there's classical music and ballet, and in Black culture we have things like jazz and the blues and hip hop. And that's why hip hop got included in classically Black. But one of the things that I noticed Shea Wafer ask everyone who comes into the Cypher of 651 is, what does classically Black mean to you? And I think that's a great way for us to close our time.
Well, honestly, I think classically Black, when I think about this and what it means to me, is being able to honor our ancestors that walked before us, and being able to exemplify the most honorable attributes of our people. There are things that we have gotten away from in the rush to be the first, to have the flashiest, in a rush to do that, we have gotten away from some of the things that make us who we are. We can be trendsetters for the entire world, but we don't have to give up who we are in order to push a trend or set a trend. And I think to be classically Black is to acknowledge the balance in that. You know, you can break new ground while still remaining true to who you are and what tribe you come from. And I think that in and of itself is classically Black. You know.
Oh, great. We have one question before we close. I missed it. It's from a female MC. Her name is Sincerity. Well, her government is Denise Garcia, but she goes by the rhyme name Sincerity. And her question for you is, how would you advise young female MCs if you had a daughter who wanted to follow in your steps, whether it be on the underground scene or mainstream level? What would your first words of advice be to her? And why not? We close with the Queen. So that we got about 3 minutes. If you could answer that, and thank you.
Okay. Well, one, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this and this time. This is very awesome. And thank you to 651 Arts for having me here. I really appreciate that as well. Sincerity, to answer your question, I am a father of a beautiful 16-year-old daughter. She does not want to follow in my footsteps, however, but if she wanted to, the first thing I would tell her is what I would tell just about any MC. Never stop your pen. Your pen should always be moving. Make sure that you have your business in order. Make sure you are a registered writer with a performing rights organization, an ASCAP, a CSAC, or a BMI. Learn how to incorporate yourself. If there isn't a Sincerity LLC or a MC Sincerity LLC, make that happen. And then once you make that happen, then go ahead and start and open your publishing company so that your writing and your works can be protected, and then just shop till you drop until somebody somebody picks up what you're putting down, for lack of a better term. I'm sorry, I'm so 70s about that. But, you know, just, and make the art that you want to make. Because when your business is in order, you have the freedom to do it the way you want to do it. And I think for any MC, you know, any MC, that's what you want. You want to be able to have the freedom to do it the way that you want to do it. So I would say get those things together, and you know, once you have that together and you have that freedom to make the art that you want to make, then go kill them all, and let God sort them out.
Well, we are wrapping it up. At last, just joined us. It's 5:58. She's joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada. She had a video question. But we're gonna be wrapping up, and we wanna thank you for calling in at last.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
And we'll have you call in for our next feature. We're gonna have some guest producers and in the masterclass series. And once again, we want to thank At Last for calling in. All of the people who asked questions, who participated, who watched, and especially Dres ThaBeatnik. It's no time. We're not gonna make you beatbox. Don't worry. But you guys can find videos of him, I'm sure, online, and to check out for the name Dres ThaBeatnik. Look up DresThaBeatnik.com if you need to hire a host for your event, an event producer, co-producer, consultant for hip hop, who also is now a hip hop ambassador. He's done diplomacy work and education work. You can reach out to Dres, and I give you my word is bond on that. I am Toni Blackman. We'll be doing the Cypher Summit. It continues at El Barrio Art Space at 215 99th Street. It's at High Arts, HIARTS NYC in East Harlem. And that's on Wednesday, March 9th. Wednesday, March 9th, we'll be starting. Doors are opening at 6. We'll have a master class in voice from 6:30 to 7:30. And that will be followed by the Cypher Vibe session from 7:30 to 9. So check out 651arts.org to get your tickets. Holler directly at us if you need if you're going to bring a group of students. You need to let us know in advance, and we can get your students in. And on the 4th Thursday, we'll be having our regular Cypher workshop at High Arts. So you can look for me at Toni Blackman on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook. And we hope to see you on Wednesday, March 9th. Thank you for joining us. And remember to stay classically black, y'all, and support 651 Arts and all of the arts. Thanks, Dres. Thanks.
Bye.
Out of here.
No doubt. Peace.